Welcome to the Bay. All right, today we've got a real barn burner for you. It is the 1440p Showdown. We are pitting two of AMD's heavy hitters against each other to see which one really deserves that precious spot in your next rig. We've got the seasoned RDNA 3 powerhouse, the RX 7800 XT, going up against the new challenger with its brand new RDNA 4 architecture, the RX 9060 XT. So if you're building a PC and you're aiming for that 1440p gaming sweet spot, this is the main event for you. You got to ask yourself, are you going to bet on the proven power, that wide memory bust of the veteran? Or are you going to put your money on the new tech contender with all its promises of efficiency and future-proof features? Let's break it down and find out. First up, let's get right to it and talk about raw horsepower. We're looking at pure, unadulterated frames per second here, okay? No upscaling, no fancy frame generation, just the silicon doing the work. And as you're about to see, this is a surprisingly even matchup. Now, what's so interesting when you look at these numbers is just how close this fight really is. You know, in those super bandwidth-heavy titles like Cyberpunk 2077 and Starfield, you can actually see the RX 7800 XT's wider memory bus letting it pull ahead just a bit. But then check out the esports titles. In games like Fortnite and Valorant, the newer, more efficient RDNA 4 architecture in the 9060 XT gives it the edge. They are literally trading blows. It all depends on the game engine.
And just take a look at Warzone here. In a highly optimized, super fast-paced game like this one, the newer architecture on the 9060 XT really gets to shine, and it delivers a solid 15 FPS advantage. Now, you know as well as I do, that is a difference you can actually feel in a competitive shooter. So the big takeaway here is that raw performance is not the whole story, not even close.
So to really understand why they're trading blows like this, we've got to pop the hood and look at their core architecture. This isn't just about one having more power or less power, it's about how that power is actually being delivered. And here is the tail of the tape. On the left, the 7800 XT is all about that massive 256-bit memory bus just feeding its proven RDNA 3 cores. It's pure brute force. But the 9060 XT on the right, well, it's the smarter fighter. It's using a narrower 128-bit bus, but it's got that more advanced RDNA 4 architecture and it's boasting some seriously upgraded ray tracing and AI accelerators. So for the RX 7800 XT, its biggest strength is really that data fire hose. Having 16 gigs of VRAM on that super wide 256-bit bus makes it an absolute beast for anyone who loves cranking texture quality up to ultra or, loading up their games with a ton of heavy mods. It's a workhorse built for pure rasterization muscle. Now, the RX 9060 XT, on the other hand, it's the efficient challenger. It still has 16 gigs of VRAM, but its RDNA 4 architecture is where all the magic happens. It has dedicated, upgraded hardware for modern features like ray tracing and AI-driven upscaling. And, as we're about to see, that efficiency has a massive, massive impact on your build and, your wallet. Which brings us to the final round for any PC builder. And let's be honest, it's often the most important one. We're talking about the specs that don't just affect your frame rate, but also your power bill and your bank account. This is usually where a clear winner starts to emerge from a really close fight. And whoa, just look at this weigh-in. The difference is absolutely staggering. The 9060 XT just sips power at 160 watts compared to the 7800 XT's 263. That means you can get away with a much smaller and, let's face it, cheaper 450-watt power supply. And then there's the price tag, a typical difference of $150. That's not just a small saving, people. That's the cost of your RAM or a high-quality SSD. That's a big deal. Okay, so performance is close, and the price and power are clearly in one corner's favor. But the ultimate question, right, for any smart builder, is always about value. What's the real price-to-performance ratio? What are you getting for your money? And there's your answer. With an FPS per dollar score of 0.58, the RX 9060 XT isn't just a little bit better value, it's in a completely different league compared to the 7800 XT score of 0.38. This is, without a doubt, a knockout punch in the value department. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The data, which was compiled over at bestgpusforgaming.com, is crystal clear. For most builders who are targeting that 1440p sweet spot, the value proposition of the 9060 XT is it's undeniable. So, with all the data right here on the table, it's time for the judge's decision. But you know what? In the world of PC building, the only judge that really matters is you. The best card isn't just about the numbers on a chart. It's about what kind of gamer you are. So let's find your profile. First up, are you the modder and texture fan? You know, the kind of builder who pushes games to their absolute visual limits with 4K texture packs and mods? If that's you, the RX 7800 XT's raw bandwidth is your champion, hands down. But what if you're the modern RT gamer and you want the latest features like ray tracing? Or maybe you're the efficient upgrader and you're just focused on a card that's easy to cool, easy to power, and easy on the wallet. Well, for both of those profiles, the RX 9060 XT is the clear winner. So ultimately, the choice really boils down to this one question. Do you go for the proven brute force power of the RDNA 3 Veteran, or do you invest in the efficient, future-facing potential of the RDNA 4 Challenger? Now, for a much deeper dive into all the benchmarks and data from this explainer, you should definitely check out the full article over at bestgpusforgaming.com. Until next time, keep it cool and keep building.